Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you're all doing good. Welcome to the analysis. Today is Tuesday, the 7th of August, 2018. Time is 10 a.m. here in the UK. You're looking at an AUDUSD daily chart in a second when I switch to it. There we go. Now it's an AUDUSD daily chart. Today's analysis, we're going to be looking for price action setups. We're going to be looking for reversals, continuations, all kinds of price action setups really. As long as it's a good setup, I am willing to trade it. So let's get into it. All right, so I'm looking at AUDUSD thinking it is hitting resistance. It is in a tight range, but do I actually want to short from this resistance area? Do I want to short from this resistance area? The answer is I'm not really that bothered. The problem is that it tends to get stuck in between these these two areas. So this is the resistance area, the top of the range. This is the support area, the bottom of the range. It tends to get stuck between these areas a lot, right, and not really get all the way to the top or all the way to the bottom very often. So there is potential for a short trade from this resistance area if this range maintains. But I will be looking for this short, but I'm not that bothered with this setup, simply because price tends to stall out in the middle here or just take days for it to get all the way to the other side. So I am looking for trades here, but I might not get into it. If a better opportunity arises on one of the other pairs, I'll probably do that. Well, thanks for the advice, Ash, but I'd rather stick with my plan of looking for a safer setup than just having a tight target. Right, so New Zealand USD, here we go. Here is a safer setup, although this one's already triggering, so it might be a bit late for this one. Yeah, this one's already gone. Damn it. Right, New Zealand USD, potential long from, well, not potential, already triggered long from this support area down here. Price is turning around from the support area. This one's a lot better than AUDUSD in that it tends to move through here cleaner than it does on AUDUSD. There is, of course, points at which it has struggled, like here, struggled to get down, then came back up, blah, blah, blah. But overall, it has some cleaner moves through this area than AUDUSD, through the middle zone of this range. So there is a long here. It's already triggered on the lower time frames, so it's a bit late to get in. But if anyone's in that, then good work, I guess. AUDJPY is just kind of like doing nothing really. It's just in between support resistance areas. Let's go to something more interesting. AUD New Zealand's really starting to trend up. It's really taken off, but right now it's in between support resistance, so there's no setup there. Keep a close eye for what happens when it hits the 1.1050-ish, our resistance area up there. Euro AUD has finally broken out of its range. Hey Chica. Or Chinka, sorry. Chinka. Hey Chinka. Right. Euro AUD has broken out of its range, shooting down, but yeah, nothing much going on there either. Whoa, EURCAD stalling out on top of the support area. Potential for a long trade here. This is a strong support area for EURCAD. Lowest point since around January of this year. So it's a significant low. Price is stalling out at this low. Let's see what happens. This could give us a decent reversal trade. So I'd be looking for, a reversal long reversal trade from this support area. But obviously it's not triggered yet. We just need to wait, see how this candle closes. If this candle starts rushing up, there might be potential for an entry today. Yeah, there's some potential here. Euro GBP has hit this resistance area again. I don't really see any decent trade setups here. This pair is just way too messy lately. If you just look to the left, you see the amount of crazy wicks it has. It's just a bit too messy for my taste at the moment. I'm going to lay off trading this pair until things calm down a little bit. That's just my personal opinion. Also, if I were to short from this resistance area, it's very likely that it's just going to stall out up here. So the risk to reward ratio is going to be atrocious. And, you know, that combined with the crazy just up and down jumpy movements it has, doesn't really look like it's worth trading this at all. For me personally. Euro JPY. Can't remember why I have this here. I think I was messing around with the support resistance areas. But it does kind of make sense to have it there. Just place it back. So there is a potential long trade on Euro JPY, but there is a resistance area immediately above it. So I'm not going to take that. Too much of a chance for price to just stall out up here. It is potentially starting to trend up, but it's not quite in an uptrend yet anyway, so yeah, I'm not too interested in that at all. Right, Euro USD. Euro USD is in between support in between a major support and a major resistance. So it's in a range essentially. The range, top of the range is there, bottom of the range is here. It's at the bottom of the range right now, bouncing away. Too late to enter in a long trade, but there was a long setup here that's already triggered. Is anyone long on that one? I'll just come back to it if anyone's long. You're in, Andre? Well, it's a pretty solid setup. It's just a basic reversal from the bottom of a range. I mean, stay in it. It's got some good potential. This range is now well established. It's a solid support area. Oh, that sucks, Marcus. You missed the trade. Well, not missed the trade, but you missed the entry because you didn't get the retrace. It happens. There'll be another trade. That's the way you're supposed to look at it. Just, if you miss a trade, you're just like, yeah, well, there'll be another trade. So it doesn't really matter. GBP AUD, not doing much. Yeah, nothing much going on here. I mean, it is hitting this support area. It is a significant support area, but I'm not too sure it's going to stall here. It looks like it's going to smash straight through it. So let's just keep an eye on it. I mean, maybe it'll stall here. GBPJPY is stalling out on top of this major support area. Significant support area. It's almost a yearly low. Almost a yearly low that it's at. It's an 11-month low. This support area is what I mean is an 11-month low. So this support area has been holding for 11 months. 11 months, significant time. Price is stalling out on this support area. Looks like it's already turning around. So there is potential for a long trade here, long bullish reversal essentially. I'm going to wait for this daily candle to close and then see if I can get in on a trade. Risk to reward ratio doesn't look like it'll be that great, but I'm sure we can make it work. Perhaps enter on a retrace, something like that. A few of you are in it too. I assume you entered on the 12-hour. That's fine too. I think I'm going to wait for the daily personally, but... How would I manage my stop loss? Would I put it below the lowest recent low? I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by recent. So, do you mean that low? Or do you mean that low? Because that low is way too low. No, man, that low is way too low. Placing it there. It's just unrealistic because it's going to stretch your target by a lot. Maybe this low here. Even then, of course, your entry is a tad lower, so you see, that's way more realistic, way safer. So yeah, stop loss around about 143.68. I like having wide stops because they're less likely to be hit, but that's just way too much. That means you're going to have a huge target. It's a bit of a balancing act with stop losses. Balancing act in between having a wide enough stop that it's not going to be easily hit, but a stop that's not too wide that it's going to make your target unreachable. Yeah, 65 is roughly where I have it. I have it at 66 in this example. I'm not in this trade. But I mean, here on this chart, I have it at 66. So it's close enough, something like that. GBPUSD, ooh, it's still heading down. We need some support areas for GBPUSD down here. I haven't really been looking at the charts much, guys, because I've been away this week, away from trading. Been having a I've had friends over for the week last week, which is why there was no Thursday webinar, and I haven't, from pretty much Thursday, I haven't really been paying much attention to my charts. So I'm a little surprised to see GBPUSD having fallen again, which is quite cool. But yeah, there's no potential setup here right now. All right, USD CAD falling into a support area. Hasn't quite hit that support area yet, so there's nothing much going on USD CAD either. USD CHF is just ranging in between support resistance, not much going on there. And USD JPY, I mean, it's just fallen back into the support area. Again, there's not much going on, but there is some good potentials today, guys. Mixed with some that have already triggered that you might be able to enter on a retrace, possibly. So let's take a look at them, summarize the analysis. AUDUSD is pushing up against a strong resistance area. It's in a tight range. I'm going to look for price to stall out on this resistance area. Look for a potential short here. Not that bothered with this trade just because price tends to stall out in between these two support resistance. So in between this resistance and support. So if I were to short, I'd be worried that it's just going to move around inside there for like 4 or 5 days, which is just not really worth it for me. So I am looking for a short here, but I'm not that excited for this short is what I'm trying to say. So let's keep an eye on it. Potential short on AUDUSD. EURCAD, potential long trade. Price stalling out on top of this support area. Keep a close eye on this. EURUSD, long trade that's already triggered. Maybe you can enter on a retrace, something like that. Good potential setup here, guys, if you're entering on a retrace, of course. Yeah, something like this, roughly. Entry at around 11577, target 11732, stop loss 11508, something like that roughly. I mean, it doesn't have to be those exact numbers. I obviously just threw this on in 2 seconds on my chart, so that's not perfect, but yeah, something like that would be ideal. It's a minor retrace, so it could definitely happen. Do keep a close eye on that one, guys. GBPJPY, this one's already triggered, and you know, this entry is, it's just a tad late if you wanted to get in now. Personally, I much rather have entered already a bit lower than this. Maybe a bit of a retrace entry or something, because the stop loss, even if we're using this low to place our stop loss beyond, it's still a very significant stop loss. So the earlier your entry, the better. So I'm probably not gonna enter this one, guys. But regardless, do keep an eye on it, because just because some people are in on a lower time frame doesn't mean that this can't still develop into a good trade on the daily. This could definitely fall further into the support area and stall out over the next few days. It's only Tuesday, so there's quite a few days for this to happen, and then a reversal to start. So do keep a close eye on GBPJPY. New Zealand USD, this one's turning around on support. This one's already triggered also. Not much chance of a retrace entry on this one. It's already started to take off. It could happen, of course, but yeah, there's not a huge chance of that happening. But other than that, guys, I think that wraps it up for the analysis. Are there any questions? Alright, it doesn't look like there's any questions, so I'm going to wrap up this webinar, guys. Thank you guys for attending, and I'll see you for tomorrow's webinar, which will be at the same time. And there's also another members-only webinar tomorrow evening, in which we're going to discuss brand new trade setups. That's going to be tomorrow evening. I'll be sending out a link to that one sometime today, or maybe tomorrow. But you'll obviously get a link before that webinar. So thank you guys for attending, and I'll see you tomorrow.